Welcome to the big, beautiful, bold, most accurate predictions you are going to see anywhere heading into this 2025 NFL season. I'm breaking down who's winning MVP, which rookies are going to stand out, which coach is getting fired first, all of that stuff. How do I know this? How can I tell the difference between a strong gut feeling and gas? AI. I've had my brain replaced by artificial intelligence and integrated it with stem cells and 4 billion renderings of Will Smith eating spaghetti. As an Italian man, that has given me unexpected insight into the future, which takes me to my first very bold prediction. And a man who also thinks drugs can help you see into the future. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers has one great season left in him.
Putting yourself in the womb of the medicine.
That's right, a la Brett Favre on the Vikings in 2009. We've written him off. I've written him off. There's no reason to really believe that this is going to happen. But like Favre, he was escaping the clutches of the New York Jets, and Rodgers had good numbers and looked physically capable a year ago despite everything falling apart around him in New York. I think he gets the Steelers back into the playoffs and has his best statistical season since 2021. There's stability there, and I think that makes a difference. My next bold quarterback prediction, Kirk Cousins starts games for a team that isn't the Falcons in 2025. No one wants to see it, but some team will lose their starting quarterback and they will realize that another year removed from his Achilles tear, you can do a lot worse than Big Kirko. He gets in for a significant chunk of the season and actually plays well, earning himself yet another fully guaranteed contract. It'll probably be the Dolphins when Tua goes down.
Tua Tagovailoa.
He's a great guy, phenomenal guy. Just got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy.
And my boldest quarterback prediction, Sam Darnold has a better year statistically than Geno Smith. That's right, I said it. I think Geno will be more than fine with the Raiders. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Seahawks have actually solidified the interior of their offensive line. There was just a 1-yard difference between Sam and Geno in 2024 in passing yards. I think Geno drops back in many passing numbers as the Raiders become a run-first team with Pete Carroll and Ashton Genty.
I don't know how he's doing it, honestly. He got a lot of energy.
It feels like we have written Sam Darnold off. And if you write a quarterback off and then he goes to Seattle, we all know what happens.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
The Seahawks will be one of 2 NFC West playoff teams. There's a bold one. Look, you guys are showing up. We're actually less than 5,000 subscribers away from 775,000. The goal was to get to that number before the season starts, and I can't thank you guys enough for, I think it might happen. And this might be the most sub-2 August I've ever had. Yeah, that's good. Sports heads are crazy. Now, this is going to piss some people off, but my regression team, the Commanders. No offense, Washington, but of all the teams in 2024, I don't think there was a single one that overachieved as much as Washington. Now, I believe they're still going to be good, and we all know Jaden Daniels will be electric. Here are my concerns. I'm not sure Jaden takes as big of a leap as I think many are thinking. I also think he might miss a few games. The Terry McLaurin holdout is officially weird. I do like preseason darling Bill Krosky-Merritt at running back. I love the Commanders' entire offense, but I fear their defense is a bit too seasoned. They're old. They're the oldest roster in the NFL, and they have a rookie quarterback. The Steelers are the second oldest roster in the league, but they've got the oldest player in the league in Aaron Rodgers. Again, I still think they'll be good, but not as good, and age is going to bite them in the arse. The Chiefs will win the Super Bowl, but only if Gardner Minshew is their starting quarterback in the playoffs and the big game. Caleb Williams won't look great until midseason. Caleb has a lot of Johnson to swallow in this new Ben offense. There's probably a different way of saying that, but I can't think of another one. I love that he had a great preseason debut, but that hasn't deterred me from the fact that it's going to take time to feel comfortable running a new system. Caleb's going to have to work under center more than he has in his life, and he's going to have to learn how to throw the ball in under 4 seconds, lest he takes 60-plus sacks again. I don't think he gets there overnight, but I do think he'll start to figure it out around the midpoint of the season.
All right.
But at that point, it'll be too late for the Bears to make a playoff run. But when it does click, God help the NFC North. And when Ben Johnson has a mobile quarterback at his disposal to create diabolical plays, it'll be fun. The worst team in the NFC will be the Saints. You're welcome, Arizona. My optimism for the Saints has slowly died over the preseason. I'm wishing the best for Tyler Shuck, but there's nothing I trust about the Saints other than Alvin Kamara. He's still their best player, and he's a 30-year-old running back. Football fans are going to start to get tired of... No, the Bills. They've been a mainstay in the playoffs for 6 years, and now I think we're getting sick of them getting our hopes up every year just to crap the bed against a team no one wants to win anymore. It's worse that Buffalo knows how to beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and I'm tired of Sean McDermott's defense saving its worst football for the fucking postseason. 29 points per game last year in the playoffs. 27.5 in 2023, 22 in 2022, and 41.5 in 2021. The average is 33.2 in their playoff losses for the Bills. And I fear some of that Chiefs hate will be sublimated into Bills fatigue. And if they do not win the Super Bowl this season, fans will start to turn on what used to be a very lovable team in Buffalo. Also, Hard Knocks has been really lame this year.
2, 3, bibbity, bibbity, bop. That's what I'm talking about.
The 49ers are going to be a bounce-back team and win a playoff game because that's just what Kyle Shanahan does. He loves to take a year off every other year and get back after it immediately after disappointing everyone. They can't possibly be as injured as they were a season ago, right? Right?
This guy's annoying, dude.
Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks and my sign-up code TGS. Here's the thing, Prize Picks is hitting me with big bonuses for every 200 sign-ups I generate. And honestly, I want them to get tired of paying me this season. So, if you live in one of the 45 states where Prize Picks is available and you like playing in these types of lineup builders, just use my code when you play. It makes a huge difference here. Make your first $5 deposit and Prize Picks will give you $50 in lineups. You pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their stat projections, and bang, you're set. If your picks hit. You can win up to 25 times your money if your picks hit. And right now you can take advantage of Prize Picks max discount play for week 1. It's Dak Prescott set at a half yard. A half yard for Dak week 1. Add that into your lineup with their max discount. And I went a little crazy for my season-long stat projections for running backs. $5, you get to play, track these all year. I'm taking more yards on Jaylen Warren, Saquon Barkley, who can rush for 550 fewer yards this season and still clear, Ashton Genty, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, more. I liked how much teams leaned into running the ball in 2024, and I'm hoping that happens again. Prize Picks, use my code TGS, and let's try and hit those 200 signups by the end of this week. Those first 200. Then it's another 200, another 200, another 200. A fall back, the Vikings. The Vikings are going to go to single-digit wins. Look, I think Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and he did wonders last season with Sam Darnold. But last year, they got 4 easy wins against the AFC South and another layup against the Jets. They just didn't have a difficult schedule, and this season they're playing 4 games against the AFC North and a 5th at the Chargers, so right off the bat, things are going to be tougher. We also have no read on J.J. McCarthy outside of 2 scattered preseason games that sandwiched his injury, and I think it's too early to say he's going to come in and pick up where Sam Darnold left off last year. I still think this is probably a 9-win team because of Kevin O'Connell and the talent they have on the roster, but they do take a significant step back from 14-3.
Gotcha.
My rookie predictions. Shedeur Sanders will start half the season for the Browns. Joe Flacco gets the start week 1. We know that. He's going to vanquish the Bengals probably. But at some point, the Browns will realize they need to figure out what they have in their rookie QB. After seeing Shedeur's preseason debut become one of the most watched preseason games in NFL history, Jimmy Haslam will ensure Shedeur Sanders brings eyeballs to the team. Sorry to their other rookie quarterback drafted ahead of him. I think Sanders gets 8 or 9 games at the helm and plays himself into a full-time role in year 2, and people are going to be very rational about it. Rookie Jaxson Dart will start by week 5. Dart was very impressive in both of his preseason games, and Russell Wilson looked like vintage Broncos/Steelers Russell Wilson. Brian Daboll knows that Jaxson Dart is his best and final chance at keeping his job long term, and at some point early on, he will realize that he has to play the quarterback whose wagon he's hitched to in New York. My bummer of a prediction, the Jaguars will put too much on Travis Hunter too soon, and he won't dominate on the other side of the ball. I think we're just not going to know what to make of Travis Hunter. Personally, I believe the Jags should have him start out on defense and work him in slowly on offense. But junior GM James Gladstone will be a little too eager to get a return on his massive investment, and head coach Liam Cohen will overuse Travis Hunter too soon. I'm concerned we are putting too much pressure on him to succeed on both sides of the ball. An unrealistic expectation we would have for any other player. Just let him figure out one side first, and then double dip. Meanwhile, the 3rd overall pick, Abdul Carter, is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year with double-digit sacks in New York. But he's really in an underrated and advantageous situation to pick up a lot of sacks, with Dexter Lawrence occupying space in the middle of that defensive line and Brian Burns getting chipped on the other side. Patriots running back Travion Henderson will have more all-purpose yards by the end of the season than any other running back in this draft class. The worst team in the AFC will now be the Colts. Their 8 wins last year might have been the biggest overachievement in the league. Sorta. I think Shane Steichen's on the hot seat, and I think having Daniel Jones as a plan A is a recipe for disaster. It will be all the more painful when they have the number 1 overall pick and Peyton Manning doesn't allow Arch Manning to enter the draft. Watching Arch Manning say no to the Saints and the Colts in the same draft is going to be hilarious. Unless you're a Saints or Colts fan. Biggest drop in production? Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry. I expect both of them to be close to 2,000-yard rushers again. I'm drafting them high in fantasy, but probability says one will get hurt, even if it's a hamstring and the guy misses a few games. I feel like both were so insanely dominant in 2024, the only way to go is backwards. These are external forces working against them, not a knock on either talent, because I fucking love those guys. And they both still have great offensive lines, great quarterbacks, and you should expect great things. I just believe one of them, and I don't know which one, is going to have a big drop in production. I'm leaning towards Henry only because the running backs behind him are also pretty talented. My breakout player, after his insane performance in the preseason Monday night game, I bet you think it's Mitchell Tinsley. No, there's just too much receiving talent in Cincinnati. My breakout player in 2025 is a rookie, so I don't know if that totally counts, but it's my prediction episode, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. I've got Colts tight end Tyler Warren putting together a season that rivals Brock Bowers from a year ago. Bowers put up elite numbers with a bad QB situation last year, and I think Warren, who was an absolute monster at Penn State, does a little bit of everything for Indy as their joker and succeeds like Bowers. And he's a true joker because he can block, catch, run, and even throw. He might be the best passer on that team right now if you look at some of his college highlights. My other breakout player is Eagles edge rusher Jalix Hunt. With Josh Sweat leaving for Arizona, someone on the edge is going to feast in Philly. He had a couple sacks in the postseason and got a lot of key reps last year. Josh Sweat doesn't leave the building if Howie didn't believe in Jalix Hunt. My surprise team to miss the playoffs? Both LA teams. The Rams, despite putting Matthew Stafford in some kind of space pod, will not be able to keep the 37-year-old quarterback on the field for a full season. Some people don't even know if Matthew Stafford's actually still alive. Has he been replaced by a AI robot? There's a lot of convincing evidence on Twitter that says he has. Congrats, Davante Adams. Once again, you will be catching the majority of your passes from Jimmy and Garoppolo. And by the time Sean McVay remembers Stetson Bennett is the better option, it'll be too late. The Chargers already lost Rashawn Slater, and when they miss the postseason this year, people will finally question how good Justin Herbert truly is as an NFL quarterback. Now, the NFL will make a new rule. Whoever loses the Super Bowl has to roll out an all-male group of cheerleaders for the following season. The NFL rushing leader will be Bucky Irving, who had over 1,100 yards on just 207 carries last season. Along with James Cook, he had the lowest number of carries to break 1,000 yards in 2024, and I think he capitalizes on a bigger workload this year. The Buccaneers' offense has ample receiving weapons, and they will just be hard to defend, and Bucky is going to be insane. Last year, Trey Hendrickson led the NFL with 17.5 sacks, but I don't think he hits that mark again. So I'm giving the sack crown to Nick Bonito. Put that big, beautiful sack all over your fucking head, Nick, because you earned it. They throw it back to Richardson. Oh, fuck! Nick Bonito picks it! That's right, I'm going all in on Nick Bonito. Look, Nick's returning to a defense that's got Zach Allen on the D-line, an incredible secondary with PS2, and presumably Denver is going to be leading a lot of games this year. And he's got a chance to get 17 or 18 sacks in year 4 as he's gotten better every season he's on the field. Bonito, he's got the right mix of talent paired with a super aggressive defensive coordinator in Vance Joseph to have a legit shot at the sack crown. He's also in a contract year. It's the perfect storm. My MVP, well, we all know it's probably going to go to a quarterback again, but what if, for once, it didn't? I see a scenario where the Bengals lose Joe Burrow for a handful of games and Jamar Chase puts up huge numbers with Burrow and Jake Browning, Browntown, throwing him the ball. And Jamar Chase is the number one reason the Bengals get back into the playoffs. If Chase does the unthinkable and wins a second Triple Crown, I truly believe he could be the league's most valuable player. My media prediction? Raiders white minority owner and Fox color analyst Tom Brady will violate league rules at some point this season. Because Brady is a white minority owner, he can't do certain things as a broadcaster like watching other teams practice, but I don't think he'll be able to help himself because he's a fucking cheater, and he will don a fake mustache to observe another team's signals, at which point he will be outed and fined 0.001% of his net worth. Also, the Raiders will be stripped of a draft pick, which ironically will make them better considering their history. The first coach to bite the dust and get canned will be two-time head coach of the year,
Steven Stefanski.
Bold. He is far and away the best coach in Browns history post-1999. He's taken a dysfunctional organization to the playoffs twice, and he will be rewarded by getting shown the door just like Baker Mayfield in the middle of what will be a disastrous season in Cleveland. I said bold predictions, guys, and I mean it.
A mile high from Denver.
Kay Adams.
Super Bowl contenders? Number 1 defense? How about the offense? Top 5?
She's just toying with our emotions at this point in Broncos country. The Broncos might be the AFC's most overhyped team. I am very uncomfortable with the idea that the Broncos are already being dubbed Super Bowl contenders. Cool the Jets. That's a reach outside of their natural evolution as a team. I think they're a better team than they were a year ago, but I think you actually have to win a playoff game before you get to talk about being a Super Bowl contender. I do believe Denver gets closer to the upper echelon of the AFC, you know, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and Bills, but I'm picking them to go 11-6 and win a wild card game. As much as I'm ready to be hurt again, I'm not getting crazy. No. I'm not calling them a Super Bowl team in 2025, and I wish everyone would just shut the hell up about it.
I think the Denver Broncos can compete and be a team that we're talking about later on in the season and be talking about them as a Super Bowl type of team.
And finally, my big Super Bowl prediction. Who's it going to be? I think the Eagles return, but this year they face the Ravens. I wanted to say Ravens versus Lions. That would be fun because I still do believe in Detroit. I think they're going to the championship game, but the Eagles somehow have gotten better. I think this is the year that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens break through and get to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. Holy crap, we've got 60 Super Bowls. The Eagles are still the Eagles, a team that bullied their way through the playoffs, especially in the last 2 games of the season. I know they lost some key contributors like Milton Williams, Darius Slay, and Josh Sweat, but I trust that Howie Roseman has a contingency plan every single offseason. I already mentioned Jalix Hunt as being a breakout player, but I think Quinion Mitchell will be considered the biggest threat to dethrone Pat Surtain as the best corner in the NFL. Ultimately, I think the Eagles get the win over the Ravens and we get back-to-back Super Bowl champions dating back to the 2022 seasons. 2 for the Chiefs, 2 for the Eagles, and in 2026, even I will be rooting against Philly for the three-peat. Knowing my team's history, the Eagles will throttle the Broncos in that game to cement themselves as the first team to three-peat. Ah, fuck. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe. You're on YouTube. You gotta subscribe. We're so close to 775,000. I can smell it. I can taste it. Make it true. Make it true.